Okay, here goes the system. We're going to go around to how it's hooked up first. Alright, in the back, this way you're able to remember all this. You have, of course, your power plug for your mixer. Then you have your left and right main XLR cables that go into your mixer. Then you have channel 4, which is actually line 6. You'll see that. This is where your karaoke player is. You'll have channel 3, which is this one, which is line 4. That's your right deck. Then you have channel 2, which is line 2, which is your left deck. Then you have channel 1, which is open. It's on mic 2. This is where your dual cordless is plugged in. And then you also have extra mic inputs here. All you got to do is, let's say you're doing karaoke and you want to hook up other microphones, you just switch these toggles over to microphone and use them, and then initiate the effects so that you could have the effects on the microphone. As is right now, it's only hooked up for the effects on this. And this, a lot of people use this just for a DJ microphone. You can go ahead and talk through it. Now, these cables, these are your main cables that go down. And if you see, I put everything together for the most part back here. And it goes down into the processor, which is actually right here, left and right. Then it comes right back out. And it comes out to, I gave you special cables actually. So I put in some patch cables. So all you got to do is you take the other end of this patch cable that's coming out. And then what you do is you just hook up the other side of it, basically right here. And I do apologize, I only have one hand to do this, so I'm holding the camera with my chin. But hopefully you were able to see that. So you put this cable, the XLR to XLR, then the other end you plug into the back of the speaker, which will be right here, your line in. Once again, you have to bear with me. You'll notice that I have the volume here and here, which is basically right around, we'll say it's 1 o'clock. I have the treble and bass already set. If you end up wanting more sound when you're outside, you can turn this up a little bit. Just know that the speakers will sound louder as far as just the residual sound that it does. Now, same thing with the other speaker. You just hook it up the same way. You take your power plug. I would suggest you take the power plug and plug these up to different receptacles if you can. That'll help out. Now, as far as plugging up the system, when you utilize your system, the last thing you're going to want to hook up power-wise is your speakers. So we'll go ahead and, this is your main power source. You just plug this in. You'll notice it will start working. You'll also notice that it has light tubes. So if any reason you need to see it at night, you could see it. But you always want to make sure you turn it off when you're not using it. The power is going to stay between anywhere from 110 to 125, 126, but if it ever spikes up to 140, turn off your equipment. It's basically telling you that something's fluctuating your electricity. For the most part, all your equipment will stay on. If you notice, this never turns off. This is on, this is on. This will all power up once you are have everything ready to go. And you'll notice the player, I have the drive hooked in, and it is saying no disk. I'm going to see if it accesses the drive while we're messing around. That will tell me whether or not you could keep the drive in. But as far as now that you have this powered up, then you want to go ahead and power up your speakers. Just power up the backs of them. You'll also notice that there's the video cable here that I have in the back, which just goes to your TV. and I'm going to have to pause this for a second. Hello? You talking about in the car? Nothing. I wouldn't worry about it. All right, I'm videotaping the system right now, and they could actually hear me talking to you. Thank you tremendously. Bye. Okay, sorry about that. When I'm rushing a system, I don't have the other staff to help me with this, so I'm doing this all on my own, and unfortunately I have no way to pause this video. You have your main RCAs that go here. You notice I have the drive plugged in, but let's see if it actually accessed the drive. You see that it doesn't. So what we do is, let's go ahead and unplug it. You'll notice what happens when you first power this up. When it powers up your system, you're going to see it say initializing. Then you're going to see the cab's logo come up next, and it says disk loading. That just means the player is getting ready. There's no disk in there. Once you see the no disk, then you go back there and plug in the drive. Right into the USB. You'll see it light up. And then what will happen is it will come up with the box. See how it comes up with the box? It has your regular karaoke songs, and then there's your Latin pack in there. So all you're going to do is basically take the remote and scroll over to the actual folder, which I'll actually go ahead and grab a remote real quick. You have your remote control. So let's say you want to get your Latin songs. You make sure that you point it at the player. You press the arrows. You'll notice it goes down. Press enter. Now it went into the Latin folder. You can just press a song. Press enter. Then you have your music. Now as far as running the karaoke, like we said, it's on channel 4. I would suggest you get little stickers and maybe put stuff on here telling you what it is. You'll notice that I have the master set right here. This is the master. That's for the whole system. It'll probably stay right there. It's okay to have it like that. You'll notice that you have your effects station. This is the effects that you get from your microphones. Right now I have it set in Room's Reverb, which is normal. This is always on. And I have it right around, it's about this high, which is more than sufficient. And like I said, when you want to put the effects on the microphone, this is the button. Now you have the highs, mids, and lows here. And you'll notice this is also the secondary gain volume, which I keep it right around there. If you need to go higher, just go ahead and adjust it based upon what you're doing. And then you just bring in the volume. You want to make sure that you watch your lights. They don't want to go into the red. Same thing with your processor. You'll notice that the processor is on because it's green, but let's see if you can pick up in the volume the difference in sound as we do with and without the processor. Alright, now let's do without. See how it's a big difference? It automatically gets sharper. Amazing processor. So when you're done with the karaoke, you can press stop. Now let's say you want to play a disc. You have what's called a D/U button on the remote. You press D/U, and you'll see that it comes up with that. You want to go to the DVD drive, and it highlights it in purple. Press enter. Now it's basically searching for a disc. There's no disc. You put your disc in, you play it. Once you're done, you stop it, open it, take the disc out, put it back in, and then if it doesn't automatically switch back to the drive, then what you do is you make sure that you use the D/U button again and go ahead and take it out. Now let's go back to the drive. You'll see it gives you the options again. I'm going to go to the... see how I'm actually pointing at the TV? You'll end up doing that too, but you want to make sure you point it at the player. Go into the USB device. I'm going to go ahead and go to the Latin again. You'll notice that the Latin has actual vocals in it, where you hear the person singing through it. There is a MPX button right down here that allows you to take the vocals out if you do hear them in karaoke. But we'll see if we hear any of that right now. Okay, now what I did was, this is an example. This froze up, and the reason why it froze up is because I was trying to press different buttons on here. So that can happen. In the event that you run into this where it freezes up, you just go back to the back of the player, unplug the drive. It says no disc again. Let's go ahead and plug it back in. Now you're back to square one. If you run into these type of problems, you either just unplug the drive, wait for it to say no disc, or you go ahead and actually shut the player off, unplug the drive, then power it back up and put the drive back in. Now, as far as running the CD players, you have your, like I said, you have your microphone on channel 1 that's dedicated to the microphone. You could also use this mic. You just basically plug in a microphone, turn that on, and you could talk. Then you have channel 2 and 3, which are your dual CD players. You'll notice that I have them both set up. So let's say we want to play this one. But then now we want to go to the next deck. You'll notice that it's here, the fader. I already have it set up for channel 2 and 3, which is your 2 DJ decks. So if I want to play the next song, press play, and then start fading over to the next deck. And then just bring in the volume. You want to play the next one, like let's say you want to search a song. You press this button. You see how I'm turning this? It's showing that it's going from different tracks. Once you get the track you want, you press that in. It will go to the track you want. You can press that. Go back. Now let's say you wanted to listen to a song with the headphones. You could put a set of headphones here. You could listen to it through here, but when you want to listen to it, if it's on this channel, you want to press the Q button so that you could actually listen to it through there. But make sure that you turn it off when you're not using it. Now, as far as your microphones, you basically just press in the power button, hold it until it lights up. Then it will turn on. You'll notice like this one says channel 99. It might be a little hard to see. You'll notice that it matches this, which is channel 99 as well. Once again, I don't know if you can see it on the video. And then you could just start talking through it. As you can see, you have your volume right here on the first channel that will change it up and down. And I'm going to go ahead and try to hold this with the microphone. Check, check, 1, 2, check, 1, 2, check, 1, 2. And then like I said, the amount of effects that you put in, check, check, 1, 2, check, 1, 2. You could also change the effects, check, 1, 2, check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2, check, 1, 2. That's not bad. Now, let's do this. If we're not going to talk, and we actually want to set up effects for DJ music, let me show you something. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. You hold that in, turn it off. Now let's say you're playing the music. You could actually turn this to flanger. Put the effects on this song. And it'll actually make it sound like it's in a tunnel. It'll transfer from side to side. Now let's say I want to put echo in the song. So you can put echo in it as well. Those are things you'll be able to mess around with when you're utilizing the equipment and so forth. Now, as far as the processor, you're never going to have to mess with the processor, really. It's, except for turning the sub, the bass and the high, up and down, however you want it. But this subwoofer output here, it's not being used now, but later on when you get a powered sub, and trust me when I tell you, if you're DJing in the back and you want it to sound like super good with bumping music, this will work perfect. Once you get the powered sub, you just put the 1/4-inch cable in the back here on the other side, and then you're able to actually control the actual subwoofer from here. Now, as far as you could actually change the key control on the player, and you'll see a lot of that in the manual and so forth. And then you also notice that these have volumes, but I have them already set. You really don't have to mess with it. Now, let's say for some reason you have interference, like a radio tower is messing with one of your microphones. You could actually press and hold in auto, and this will scan the whole system for the best frequency. And then if you have to change the frequency, so let's say it's channel 1 and you need to change the handheld to channel 1, you make sure that you press one of these buttons in until it starts blinking, and then just start going up or down to the frequencies that you want. And once again, that is also in the manual. Now, as far as powering down the system, always remember, number 1, go ahead and take your drive out. So now you're done with your drive, take it out. Once that's done, the first thing you power down is the speakers. Remember, the speakers are the last thing you power up and the first thing you power down, because you could damage your system if you do it another way. So now that the speakers are powered down, now you're safe to power everything else down. So let's go ahead and take the disc out. You could actually eject the disc from here or from here. Take them both out. A lot of people make the mistake of pushing in these or getting them. These work pretty good. If someone called me and said that, oh, the tray won't come in and out, most of the time it's because someone bumped it. But you could go ahead and shut it like this or shut it like that. Now, this also has a scratch feature, which you could press on the scratch, and apparently it will allow you to scratch the music. In fact, let's go ahead and try it since we're here. I'm going to power the speaker back up. I'm actually just going to have one powered up this time. And let's see if I could test the scratch feature. Okay, that's a pitch bend. Now, when it blinks, it'll allow you to scratch the music. You can slow the music down if you want. Speed it up. You could even speed it up and do it like this. You could even do seamless loop. See how I looped it? Now it's going to keep relooping. You want it to stop? Go right back out. You'll be able to learn some stuff with it. It's pretty cool. You guys should have a lot of fun with this system. It's a beautiful system. The processors is what my family swears by. We use the same microphones. We have used the same player. We've always used this dual CD player, not the same exact one, but that brand, because it's not high-end, it's not low-end. It's just always been a very good product. And then that mixer we really like as well. It's just a very sharp system. I made sure that I gave you a case that's a little bit larger so that you have room. What I would tell you to do is get some sort of cushion, and you could actually stick your microphones in here if you want. You might even be able to do this. If you're able to put them in a cushion, sit them right in here. And then we'll go in the back again, and we'll go over. Remember I was talking about the styrofoam that I put back here for you? It's actually going to make it where this doesn't dip down. And you'll see like the bottom, here's the power for the microphones. There's this. This is just antennas. You should be more than fine. But just always try to remember where stuff is plugged up. You'll notice that I put some foam up here to try to support the larger adapter. And once again, find another spot to put your speakers on. So you just power down the whole system. You unplug your speakers and just wrap up your cables. This is your main power cable. Put it back in. Put your lids on, and you're good to go. Well, I really hope you guys have a fantastic party, and I truly hope that we accomplished our goal to pamper you from start to finish.